All right, guys, this is my first live on YouTube. Give me a second. I'm just still trying to figure this out. All right, we've got. All right, guys, this is my first live. All right, I'm still trying to figure out. Okay, perfect. Let's get started. Okay, so I wanted to print this chart up and kind of show you guys what's going on. So this chart signifies the total increase in interest rate and how long it's taken. So if you guys compare it to 2015, it took 36 months. You look at 1999, 11 months. Then you look at 2004, it took 23 months. So the chart shows months relative to the first rate hike. This is the fastest cycle we've ever seen. I believe the interest is at 4%, and it's relative to what we were in 2008. Now, moving on to what Powell said, and then we'll get into charts. So basically, when we did get the initial interest rate hike, which was 75 basis point, it was expected move, right? So let's just go to 5%. Let me clarify what I meant. So if you look at it, this was a balanced day when the market opened up. We sold a little bit, which usually happens because you're trying to reposition for the event, right? When the news came in at 11 my time, basically what it was 75 basis point. So anytime we match the expectation, the hedges come off. What are hedges? In this case, the hedges were puts. So when the hedges come off, we get that big spike. This is the spike we got. Now, for most of the people that are in the Discord, you guys understand that we had a report today that told us about the gamma wall, right? So, in terms of when you look at the gamma wall, the call wall was at 3,900. So, I'm going to quickly draw 3,900 here. Oh, sorry. I'm going to delete everything because I was working on this chart. So the call wall is at, give me a second, 3,900. Let's move on to SPX for a second. Easier. And the put wall was, you won't be able to see it because it's way far, 3,600. So if I go daily, you'll see it. So I'll be better. Okay. So this was what the call wall and put wall was. For a lot of people that don't know what that is, those are basically buy and sell orders at these levels, meaning 3,900 is a very hard level to break because there's a lot of sellers sitting there. 3,600 is a very hard level to break because there's a lot of buyers there. We knew this information going in. So what we did here was we took puts off of, I called the puts. I was going over with someone on a one-on-one. I got the puts right at 38.78 today, so this level. And basically, what I did play, I'm going to draw it right here. And what I did was I played when we got right here, I added calls for 3,900. So basically, I got into something called a strangle. There's a straddle and a strangle. Straddle is if you get calls and puts for the same strike price. A strangle is getting calls or puts for different strike price. So I had a call for 3,900 and a put for 3,800, right? So my idea was if one level breaks, it should make the whole thing free. The whole thing, 38.39, costed me $1,200. I sold it for $3,000 at the end of the day. So I pocketed about $1,600 per contract, depending on I only had one. If I did hold it till close, it went to 5,600. So I could have taken 4K instead of 1,600. But that's kind of what the plan is because these 0 days, it can go anywhere. I want to clarify when I sell versus where the price goes because a lot of people will post how much the straddle actually went for rather than when they took profits, which is a day and night difference. Anyway, so that's kind of where we were. Now looking at, we'll move to SPY and I'll show you guys where we're at. So we're looking at daily. I'm just doing a trend line on daily and this is the trend line we have. Now, What do you want to expect for tomorrow is what most of you guys are here for, because we just recapped what's happened so far. So the reason why we had a drop was because Powell stated that this isn't the time to pivot, and essentially he said it's okay for us to over tighten because we can always ease, but if we do this too early, things could get really bad. And which is why the market started selling, because the idea was that there's pivot happening, right? That's what people had the assumption of, because the way people are looking at it is if we go 75 basis point and then the next one 50 and then the next one 25 and then the next we don't do any, it's bullish. But what people aren't understanding, if you even keep the rate of interest here and just not do any, it's still not bullish because the cost of borrowing is so high that most people, as it is, cannot afford how things are. So that's kind of where people were off. And when I say people, I divide them into two categories. There's institutional investors and then there's retail investors. Institutional investors understand what's happening and they're looking for liquidity out, except a couple of them, which are like Tom, Lee, Kathy. They are like permeables, meaning they're always bullish. And the others are smart, but they're just trying to get rid of what they have. Like there's like I think Kathy owns insane amount of Roku shares, and Roku's down 15% after hours. So that's kind of why we dropped. Now we are at a point where you can get a bounce or you can drop. But if you if I was to look at this chart right here, I drew the trend line wrong. Just looking at what happened. This is a break of the trend line. So a lot of people, even now on Twitter, are saying that we might get a retest of the trend line, which I doubt that happens. When you get a clean break like this, you don't have a demand until this level here. And if you guys don't understand demand and supply, all I'm saying is this is where buyers are gonna draw in each one. This is where buyers are sitting. There's no support underneath that. So I think we should get to 365 by Friday. So these are the level I'll be watching. So for tomorrow, which is what we want to talk about, is these are the levels that I'm watching to short on SPY and QQQ. I'm not really looking at SPY, I'm looking at QQQ. You've got this supply, then you've got this supply, and then you've got the supply. These are the supply zones I'm looking at. The level that you should be looking at for SPX is 3850. 3850 above, I'm bullish. 3820 might get retested tomorrow. If it does on SPX, I'm looking to go short. Over 3850 is when I'll go bullish. I don't think that happens. Macro wise, I'm already in Tesla puts. I added MPW puts. I added Apple puts. So let me share the plays for now. So basically for QQQ, I'm looking at 270 puts. For SPY, I'm looking, sorry, for SPY, not QQ. For SPY, if you guys want to play, I like 370. They're about $1.65 for Friday. And then I also like 370 for Monday. Friday red, you usually get a Monday red. Apple, let me see if I have the fibs. Yeah, I still have the fibs. So we broke this trend line here. 146 was a key level. Underneath that, we have 130.91. This morning, we had a $23 million put that came in, and they kept buying every time Apple went up. In totality, 135 April next year is what the puts came for, 135 strike price. So I'll repeat it, 135 April monthlies, they came for 23 million. At the end, they stacked up close to 60 million in puts. I'm also in them. I think I added around 730 or 750. Those are 850 now. I think it shouldn't take that long for Apple to go 135, but they're expecting, in my opinion, they're expecting that to go around 5 to 6x because they're expecting this to go to 128 based on how they're just hammering it. The person that came in with that $123 million order, at close he was up $3 million. So the play for Apple, it's expensive. It's 850 now, but if we get any bounces, I'll add more. But November 18, 140 isn't bad either. The play that I did add that might be cheaper for people is Tesla here. This is again a fib for Tesla. You're looking at, I added 200 for Tesla for next week for 250. Those are, I think they were up at 3 at close. Just showing you this is the level I expect to get to. So my profit taking is at 198 on Tesla. Tesla is looking really, really weak. And there's a macro reason apart from the market selling. The rumor is that Elon is taking people from Tesla and moving them to Twitter, which is really bad for the shareholders because they don't want they want his undivided attention in Tesla. The switch over isn't really the best thing for shareholder. Now, I'm not saying that because he's doing that, Tesla will lose customers. It's just the perception part isn't looking good. So that's why Tesla. And the second big macro reason is look at what's selling the most right now. It's Facebook, there's Apple, there's Tesla, there's Google, and then there's Amazon. They're going for liquid stocks where they park the most cash, and those are usually the last one to turn. Apple, in my opinion, is probably the best one to short because imagine if Apple gets to 103 by April, which I know for people that are holding stocks, that's a big drop for Apple from going from 150 to 103 or 100. That's huge, right? But if it goes there, look at where that leaps will go. The sevens will go around 55 to 60 if that happens. Those seven, I don't want to call them leaps, but the 7 puts that came. Same thing with Tesla. I think this thing gets around 150, but I didn't add long puts. I'm only next week, so I'll keep rolling. The other ones that I'm looking at is HD. Because they were a big put and I drew this supply, but I never did anything about it because I was busy in other plays. This is not looking bad here. Let me see if my interactive broker, I'm just setting up interactive broker. I'm moving all my accounts to interactive broker. Let me see if I can pull HD. I'm still getting used to. Hold on, I'm not sure why it's not doing it. Yeah, I'm still getting used to. Sorry, guys. All right, finally. Okay. Let's take a look at HD. Give me a second, guys. I'm just. You know what? I'm gonna figure that out later. Not the time for me to play around. Okay, so HD, I'm looking at 250 puts for December 12th. If you guys are looking at weekly, let's get weekly here. You have $286 as your next demand. If 286 breaks, you get 282. And if that breaks, you have nothing till 280. These are small levels. Let me go an hourly. Yeah, this looks better. So on an hourly, you have a demand zone right here. Then you have something here. And then you have nothing till 273. Last time when we started the next leg lower, we got to 265. Just know that housing, in my opinion, is where stocks were in January. So housing can see a bigger drop. Last time we failed at 300s. We bottomed out at 265. So I'm looking at December 265s, but for weekly, for next week, 280s don't look bad. So just to re-summarize, if you guys have any question, let me know. Might have to block a couple of people here. If you have any questions, let me know. But I'm gonna quickly go over the trades again. Apple, is what I'm watching tomorrow. Zoom out. I'm looking at 140. 140 for next week looks good. I'm already in 135 for April. Tesla, I'm actually in 200s for next week at 250. I also added MTW. I was watching for this to fail 1130. When it failed 1130, I was watching for it to fail 11. And when it failed 11, I got into the 10 for December puts. If this gets to 10, shouldn't take a long time. Those should go about 300%. And then what else did I have? Google. Let's go check Google's chart. Looks very weak. So 86 is a key level. 86 breaks, you've got 79, 70. So if you look at Google, Amazon, and Meta, it's aggressively selling. You can go for Google short. I'm going to stick with not so much on Amazon because let me show you the Amazon move. Amazon might not be a bad play for Friday. You could see the gap fill here. Let me show you on 30 minutes. This is the gap fill. So this might not be a bad play tomorrow on a bounce, but let's go 5, see if we can find anything. So if we're strictly looking for Friday lottos, if we can get to Friday, this is a big supply. So I'm gonna set an alert at 94.80.28 on this. And then finally, let's go over SPY. This is what I have mine drawn. Unless we get to 38.50, I will be loading up puts. I'm looking at 36 for Friday puts for SPX. That's what most likely I'll be adding. And then for SPY, 370 for Friday. If you're looking at that, if you want more confident or high probability play, 370 for Monday would be better. But I'll be entering all of them tomorrow. Do you guys have any questions? All right, if you guys don't have any questions, I'm out. I might do something similar again on Friday morning, so I'll let you guys know. For now, I'm going to keep the YouTube open for everyone. Any feedback you guys have, let me know, and I'll upload this recording within the next 5-10 minutes. All right, see you guys.